Very good morning, students. Today we are going to study seventh lesson of history, civilizing the native, educating the nations. And we have seen the what happened to the small scale workers or the cottage industry people in last lesson. And in this lesson we are going to see how the English people they are thinking to make us civilizing, to give a culture to India, like that they are thinking, and they are trying to give education to us. So we are just to go through the lesson. We can see introduction part of the lesson, then how the British saw education, what is the their understanding about Indian education, then tradition of Orientalism, our method what it was, and the Gurukul education system that they never understood that one. So they are conducting survey and they are coming and helping us to make a standard form of education what they had in England. And grave error to the of the east, they are getting the understanding like that the education method what we was following here, that is totally wrong, like that. Then education for commerce, then they are starting the education for business purpose. Now also we can see maximum our education aim is to make the maximum money. Then demand for the moral education, then the English people they are asking for the moral education. Then asking what happened to the local schools. They are started to they are English people they started to develop their own education system here in India. Then what happened to the local schools, the report of the William Adams there, he is conducting survey, and he understood the value of the Indian education, and he is asking submitting his report. New routine and new rules, and then British people they are making the new rules and new routine in the for the education purpose. And we know the in forest policy or the business policy, everything they are making like that. Here also it is going to affect negatively Indian education. Then the agenda for the national education, they are making the national education. In that we can see in English education has enslaved us. They are giving English education for what purpose? To make the workers for their company. Then Tagore say board of the peace, then Tagore is coming, and some of the social workers here they are arguing against the British education, as well as some of the people they are giving positive arguments for English education. Tagore given taken the it is in a positive way, and he is saying like that English education is must, like that, or by that we can improve, like that he is saying. Then education as a civilizing mission, the not only here in India, in other countries also they are taken the same way. By education they not only British people, other country people also they are thinking like that we can get civilization. This is all about the lesson. This is the what we can say nutshell of the lesson. Now we will go through the lesson part by part. So take your textbook in your hand, and please take pencil also and ready to underline. Okay. So in the earlier chapter, you have seen how British rule affected Rajas, Nawabs, peasants and tribals. In this chapter, we will try to understand what implication it had for the lives of the student. We have seen what happened to the rulers. The rulers, they lost their power, like that things we have seen. Like that, here we are going to see what happened for the students. In introduction part itself we said, for British in India wanted not only territorial conquest and control over revenue, they also felt that they had a cultural mission. They had to civilize the native, change their customs and values. Not only collecting maximum amount and doing the just ruling over the country. No, they understood they are having the submission. Please underline that one. They understood that, or they felt like that they want to make a cultural mission here in India. They want to make a cultural mission here in India. Then so they want to educate the people. Then next one, next thing what they are thinking, they are asking to civilize the native. They want to give a civilization here in Indian people. The next they are thinking like that, that civilizing native, that through the and by that we can make the changes in our customs and values. What changes were to be introduced? How were Indians to be educated, civilized, or made into the in what the British believed that good subjects? Why they are thinking like that? All these things, civilization, they want to make us to be a more civilized people or more good subjects. The British could find no simple answer to these questions. They continued to debates for many decades. They themselves conducting the debates. They are discussing each other and to find out the solution. How we can do, what we can do, what we should do, like that. How the British saw education. What is their understanding about in Indian education? How they are trying to understand Indian education. Let us look at what the British thought and did, and how some of the ideas education that we now take for granted evolved in last 200 years. In the process of this inquiry, we will also see how Indian reacted to British ideas and how they developed their own view about Indian education to be Indians were to be educated. Here we are going to see how they are understood like that, or what policy they taken to make the Indians to be educated. What was their understanding about Indian education, that we are going to see. Indian tradition of Orientalism, very important one. Please take your pencil in your hand and be ready. In 1783, a person named William Jones, please underline, in 1783, a person named William Jones arrived in Calcutta. And who came? William Jones. When he came, in which year he came? 1783. Where he came? In Calcutta. He had an appointment as a junior judge at the Supreme Court that the company had set up. Why he came to India? He was the junior judge were in the Supreme Court. And who Supreme Court it is? The East India Company set up a Supreme Court. In addition to being an expert in law, Jones was once a linguistic. What was his specialty? He was a linguistic. He know many languages. And he had studied Greek, Latin at Oxford, and knew French and English, had picked up Arabic from a friend, and had also learned Persian. So he know 6 languages. Which languages he knows? He knew already Greek, Latin, French, English, then Arabic and Persian, or like that 6 languages he learned. So what we will call him? He is a linguistic. At Calcutta, he began spending many hours a day with pundits who taught him some subtleties of Sanskrit language, grammar and poetry. And when he came here in India, he is a linguistic, already learned 6 languages. So he spent time with whom? Linguistic or the other Sanskrit pandits. For what? To learn English, Sanskrit language. So he is spending time or hours and hours to learn Sanskrit. In that he is learning the basic things, then grammar and poetry. Soon he was studying ancient Indian texts on law, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetic, medicine and other sciences. After when he started to learn Sanskrit, at the same time he started to read Indian text which is written in Sanskrit. And in that, what all things he read? He read the laws, philosophy, religion, politics, morality, arithmetics, medicine and other sciences. Jones discovered that his interests were shared by many British officials living in Calcutta at the time. When then he started to discuss with his own friends and his own people. Englishmen like Henry Thomas, Colebrook and the Nathaniel Halhed were also busy discovering the ancient Indian heritage mastering Indian language and translating Sanskrit and Persian works to English. Then together with them, John set up an Asiatic Society of Bengal and started to journal called Asiatic Researchers. Then not only one person, many other people also got interest, and they also started to learn Indian languages like English, Sanskrit and Persian, and which is the Indian text maximum written in these languages, and they are learning that one. Then they started to read these books. Then they are starting a society here, Asiatic Society of Bengal, and they started a journal here in India, Asiatic Researchers. Please underline all these important things. Jones and Colebrook came to represent a particular attitude towards India. They shared a deep respect for the ancient civilization, both of India and the West. Then when they went through the books, they understood the culture or the ancient culture of India. Then Indian civilization, they felt, had attained its glory in ancient past, but had subsequently declined. And they understood what we had the civilization in the past. Nowadays we are not that much. We are declining, like that. They understood. In order to understand India, it was necessary to discover the sacred and legal texts that were produced in the ancient period, for only those texts could reveal that the real idea and the laws of the Hindus and Muslims, and only a new study of these texts could form a basic future development in India. So they understood like that the real text, what all things written in the olden days, that we should discover it, and when we are reading that one, that time we will come to know what was the real culture of India, or how much it was worthful on that time, like that. And who is saying like that? John said. Then influenced by these such ideas, many company officials argued that British ought to promote Indian rather than the Western learning. So some of the British officials, they themselves said like that, instead of promoting English education, what they want to do, they want to promote the culture of India itself. They felt like that the institution should be set up to encourage the study of the Indian ancient Indian text, and teach Sanskrit and Persian literature and poetry. The officials also thought that the Hindus and Muslims ought to be taught that they were already familiar with, and that what they valued and treasured, not subjects that were alien to them. Only then, they believed, could the British hope to win the place in the hearts of the native. They only then could the alien rulers expect to respect by the subject. What was what all things they are saying? They are saying like that, instead of teaching the Western education, they want British people want to teach the set up the schools or the education system to teach the Indian culture, or in the Indian text, the Vedic text itself, and by that they can get the place in the hands of the people. They will get a place, like that. They are thinking for that. They are trying. Okay, we will continue in next video.